Great. I see some participants are starting to log into our Zoom call. We're going to give just a couple of minutes for people to continue to join. And once we see the number of participants has reached about that the same number as who has signed up, we will get started. For those of you just joining us, we're just admitting people into the Zoom call, so stay with us and we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Again, for anyone just joining us, we're just admitting all of the folks that we know are going to be listening today, so we'll get started shortly. All right, so I think we will begin. Welcome to our Zoom call this afternoon. My name is Jen Drake. I'm a member of the Dutchess County Commission on Human Rights. My fellow commission member, Daniel Goldhagen, is also here to host the call, and he'll introduce himself in a moment. I've been a resident of Dutchess County for almost 25 years, and I'm very happy to be serving on the commission and with you this afternoon. So thank you for taking the time to be here to listen. We are here to listen to ideas from the general public about police reform. So in a few minutes, we're going to give some information about the Police Reform Collaborative. First, we're going to introduce who's with us today on screen as the audience, as the listeners on this for this listening session. And I would just like to point out as a reminder that the elected officials who are joining us are here to listen. We will not be hearing from our elected officials this afternoon. They're here to listen to members of the public. So thank you, and I will pass it over to Daniel to introduce who's with us.
I'm Daniel Goldhagen. I've also been a resident of Dutchess County for over 25 years. And I've been on the Commission on Human Rights for Dutchess County for 2 years. So for today, we have elected officials that are on screen for today's community forum, which include Dara Cloud, who's Supervisor of Town of Pine Plains, Chris Kennan, Supervisor, Town of Northeast, Debbie Middlebrook, Mayor, Village of Millerton, Frank Pepe, Deputy Supervisor, Town of Stanford, Michael Herzog, Mayor, Village of Millbrook, and Tim Colopy, Deputy Mayor of Village of Millerton. So in addition to those on screen, which we have also other elected officials as well as police leadership from different agencies which are also in attendance, to listen to your ideas and comments on police reform. Before we start, we would like to thank the ASL interpreters from Mid-Hudson Interpreter Service, a program of Taconic Resources for Independence. Also, we want to inform you that there will be additional forums in Spanish, which will be held on September 29th, October 1st, and October 3rd. For more information, please check out our website, www.dutchessny.gov/police reform, or you may email dchumanrights@dutchessny.gov. Jen?
Thank you, Dan. So we are here this afternoon because both the president and the governor have issued executive orders that require police reform. Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 203 requires every municipality that has a police agency in New York State to create a police reform plan. Each municipality with a police agency, including Dutchess County's Sheriff's Office, must create a plan that covers all of the policy areas in the executive order. The county is leading a collaborative process that includes municipal leaders, police agencies, criminal justice council stakeholders, and community stakeholders to review research, best practices, and community feedback to create a county plan that can also be used by individual municipalities with police agencies to inform their own plans. This meeting is part of that collaborative process. Municipalities will be able to use all, some, or none of the county's plan. Once each municipality has their draft plan, they must get public comment on their plan, then create a local law or resolution to adopt, and then implement the plan. And the final plan must be sent to the New York State Budget Office, the director, by April 1st of next year. For more information on this process, the Dutchess County Police Reform and Modernization Collaborative, including on the executive orders, you can go to dutchessny.gov/police reform. So the purpose of tonight's forum is, as I mentioned earlier, a listening session to hear your feedback on police reform. Again, we've invited elected officials to listen, to hear your feedback, but I just want to point out that this is not a dialogue session, so there will not be any response. This is just a listening session. Speakers who have registered and have a connection to this geographic area will be given speaking priority. If there's time left after anyone who pre-registered, we will ask anyone else who would like to speak to raise their hand, and moderators will call on you. I would like to point out that we have a relatively small number of people who signed up to speak this afternoon. So for those of you who signed up saying that you weren't sure if you'd like to speak, I encourage you to do so because it does look like we will have time to hear from everyone. These sessions will be recorded and they will be posted on the same page where you registered. Again, that's dutchessny.gov/police forums. If time runs out for any speakers at this forum, you may provide feedback on police reform through a feedback form on the website, and there will also be future forums at which you are welcome to participate. Daniel.
So what we will do with what you tell us today, all feedback will be used to inform the county's plan, which may also inform your municipality's plan. The format and ground rules for today's session: all speakers will have 3 minutes each to provide your comments. When you reach 3 minutes, I'll gently inform you that the 3 minutes have been reached. If there's more that you would like to say after your time is up, please use one of the other options which Jen has already mentioned, where you can find on the website public comment. So as we start, if you could please state your name, and if you're representing an organization, the name of the organization. We ask that you refrain from naming individuals. And if you haven't signed up to provide comments, but would like to, as Jen mentioned earlier, if you could raise your hand or indicate that you would like to provide your comments and have opportunity here to do so. So if we could start, the first person that I see that has registered that would like to speak is Sam Bazell. Sam?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for setting me up here. nervous about speaking first. Hello, Jen. Hello, Dan. Hi, everybody. Chris and Debbie. The police reform community forum seems to be an excellent way to get community response. As we know from the steadfast and generous contributions our local residents have made over many months during COVID-19 pandemic, our community members are eager to help their family, friends, and neighbors. Group organizations, municipal workers, caretakers, business owners, and nonprofit service providers are playing important roles. Nationwide, the case has been made that inequity based on income, class, race, or ethnic background is untenable, and we must do better. To my mind, this crisis and resultant coming together demonstrates an opportunity for an extraordinary effort to cope with trauma, anxiety through collaboration to strengthen collective initiatives and reinforce our existing relationships. The building trust and legitimacy topic for the police reform forums is an excellent place to start. It can serve as an overarching goal to strengthen community bonds, a re-examination of what agency is best at what element of social service is critical. Law enforcement, public safety is one component. The training of local youth in the various fields of criminal justice and social work at area colleges, programs at Dutchess, SUNY, Marist, Bard, Vassar could be bolstered by internships and take place in Eastern Dutchess with counseling that could guide students from the high schools, county criminal justice and prevention programs. In other words, we could have a much more deliberate relationship between the Poughkeepsie and the county offices and agencies to the people who are working so hard and so effectively in local areas in the regions. I kind of classify myself as an inveterate networker, which likes to put people together with ideas and resources. The procedural justice training, any number of the programs that the county has set up and the city, crisis intervention training, stabilization center, the health and mental health interventions are all programs that I think we can know better if we have more collaboration at various levels. Connections with the county agencies can be significantly enhanced through reliable local facilitators, and that's my pitch. For example, the Northeast Community Center, which has been in existence for 30 years, is an extremely effective connector between services and individuals. It's become a significant provider of myriad social services, including a transportation program that transports people locally to vital events and appointments. The recently established Tri-Town Coalition with Pine Plains, Amenia, Millerton, and Northeast participating is an example, another example where coordination and collaboration between three communities is trying to address the really critical issue of housing and economic development.
Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the 3 minutes are up. So if you have additional commentary that you'd like to add, if you want to go to the website under public comment, I'm sure we can continue getting your feedback there. At this time, in terms of who was listed that wanted to speak, I don't see anybody that was on the list, but I believe there is one person, attendees, that has raised her hand. Pamela Phillips Zeller, would you like to speak? Pamela? I'm not sure we're hearing from her. Maybe we'll come back. Is there anyone else if you could raise your hand in the on your Zoom screen below and let us know if you would like to contribute your comments. Dorothea, still, please, if you could speak.
Yes, I'm a senior citizen from Millbrook and have lived here 55 years. And my only comment is that I would very much appreciate, I do very much appreciate, and I would be ever grateful if you could say thank you and shout out to our Millbrook Police Department. They are wonderful. They have been there for everything and anything that you could think of. I can't think of a more marvelous group of people. And that also goes for, of course, our whole Millbrook political and everything, but the police department is especially great. That would be my only comment, and thank you very much.
Daniel, I'm sorry, you're muted.
I'm sorry. If anybody from the community would like to speak at this time, please raise your hand and we will call on you. If I could ask Doug Kramer to speak. Doug?
Unmute. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Dan. Hi, everybody else. My name's Douglas Kramer. I live in Pine Plains. I've been here about 27 years. Pine Plains has a local police force, which we are told is mainly staffed by people who live here or grew up here. And I am unaware of any particular problems that have arisen in their activity. But we also are policed by the state police, who frequently have a car or two stationed, and I don't know where those policemen come from. The problem that I find is due to the lack of newspapers and news reporting for this area of Dutchess County. We really don't know what's going on with the police or with their interaction with the community, or particularly those in the community who might be concerned or vulnerable to police activity. And that lack of information is worrisome. I think it might be a good idea for the local towns to set up a small panel, at least, of local people who would be kept informed as to police activity and could help publicize any problems and call for forums within the town to discuss those problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I don't see anyone else that is looking to provide some comment. So if you would like to raise your hand in the chat function or on your screen, Zoom screen, we'll be happy to call on you. Give it a couple more minutes. Anyone else have anything to add? There were some people that were on the list that said they might be interested to speak. So if you are, please let us know. Megan, if you could provide us your comments.
Yeah, just briefly before, just because nobody else is talking, I would like to reinforce the last comment and say that in as much as we're participating in a national discussion we are trying to create that discussion and create a place for that discussion. So, you know, and then in response to the comment before that, I don't think it's a judgment on any of our police departments, but I think a lot of people would just like to see a discussion happen, and that's all.
Thank you, Megan. Is there anyone else at this time that is interested in speaking? Joan Benson. Joan, if you could open your, unmute yourself.
Okay.
Thank you, Joan.
I don't know if I can articulate this, but a part of the national discussion is the overload of police forces with many non-police functions, social service functions, health care, public health functions, that kind of thing. I don't know if that pertains to, I'm from Millerton, I don't know if it pertains to our particular area, but I would like to know that. Sam mentioned the wonderful input and job provided by the NACC, but how does that interact with the police at all? So that's just a broad question. It would help clarify in my mind what we have to talk about locally.
Thank you, Joan. Let's see, I have Jennifer Hand. Jen, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi, Jen.
Hi. I'm Jennifer Hand. I'm from Millerton. I've lived in the area since about 2001. And first of all, I want to thank everybody who is here listening. This is a really amazing tribute to the work of Daniel and the others from the Human Rights Commission, so thank you. And I guess I just have a couple of reflections. First of all, I want to say I am very grateful to our local police for the work they do. The second is, I know it varies from town to town. In our area, it seems like the police aren't from our town, and we don't really get to know them because they work, and I understand the budget constraints, but they work in the evenings. And I think it would be really useful to find a way that community members can, and the police can get to know each other better. And that, you know, the interactions aren't restricted to, it tends to be mostly traffic stops in our area. But it would be great, you know, to find ways that everybody in the community would have opportunities to know our police, and they would have opportunities to know us. The other thing is about today's forum. I was aware of it because I saw things online and I'm friends with Daniel, but I'm just wondering how this is publicized and making sure it gets to as many people in the community as possible. So, you know, there might be lots of people who have ideas about this, but just weren't aware of this meeting. And the other thing is, I think it's unclear in the situations where somebody might have a question about what the police are doing, or have an issue with something, an interaction that they had with the police, how in our community you go about addressing that. And I think it would be useful for that to be very well known in the community, and also assurances of confidentiality. I think in even a forum like this, people are hesitant to speak out because nobody wants to come across as being unsupportive of the police, which I don't think anybody on this call is, but you know, there's a tension there. And I just think, you know, in terms of building that communication, it would be really great to know ways, you know, that more difficult conversations might be had, that everybody feels safe in those conversations. And that's all I have to say, but thank you very much for listening, and we truly appreciate you creating this forum for us.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for participating and your comments. Does anyone else would like to speak? The question that we're asking is, what are your specific ideas for police reform? So if you can raise your hand and give us your thoughts and comments. I'd like to call on Kim Hausner. Kim, if you could unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm from Millerton, and I've lived here for a few years now. I haven't had any interactions with the police, Millerton police. Several people I know have been pulled over by the Millerton police and were extremely upset about their treatment. And were not able to get any satisfaction from the town. And I find that very disturbing. And I don't really understand what it was about. Two people I know very well said they were followed for some distance by the police until they did something that warranted pulling them over. And then they were accused of DUI, even though it was not the case. And I find it very hard to understand. And I've heard this from other people who I don't know as well. And I don't know what the process is or if there is any discussion of this. I know these two people in particular have tried to raise this with the town and haven't gotten anywhere.
Thank you, Kim, for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? If you can please raise your hand at this time. Again, the question that we're asking is, what are your specific ideas for police reform?
Nobody has anything to say.
We'll give it a couple more seconds, see if anyone else would like to speak. I just remind you that if you do not feel like speaking as part of this community forum, but would like to provide comment, please go to the website where we have for duchessny.gov, police reform, and there you'll be able to find a place to provide public comment. And there will be also other forums that you'll be able to participate in next coming and within this month. Anyone else have any comment?
Should we bring things to a close? Last call for comments. Anyone out there like to say something? Okay, I do see a few additional hands. I think I see some additional hands raised.
I see Meredith Hamilton, if you would like to unmute yourself. Meredith Hamilton, if you could please unmute yourself.
Yes, she's on here.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Meredith.
Okay, thank you. The mute option just appeared. I'm just wondering if you could repeat the contact information for additional comment or questions to make sure that I have that available.
Sure, it's the county's website, so it's www.duchessny.gov/police reform. It's the same place that you registered to attend this Zoom call.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And just one other comment that's coming to mind is that I think it's really awesome that there are upcoming forums for Spanish-speaking families to participate in. And the question just comes to mind of whether or not our police force is trained in Spanish-speaking or what those interactions look like for non-English speakers in our community. So that's just something that came to mind. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and for holding the space today.
Thank you, Meredith. Looking to see if there's anyone else that is online that would like to speak. If you could raise your hand at this time.
And I'll just quickly point out that for anyone who doesn't receive the Dutchess County's routine communications, it's a great way to stay informed about all things that are happening in the county. So you can sign up for those Dutchess delivery email notifications on the county's website. And that's a great way to get information about this type of forum, but also any other type of thing that's happening that the county is sponsoring.
I see that possibly, I'm looking to see, Peter Greeno. Peter, if you could unmute yourself.
Sounds like Peter might have left us.
Chris, I don't know if you have Peter, if you could, Peter Greeno.
Looks like Peter left us.
Okay.
Is that a hand raised for Douglas Kramer? Does anyone, do you
yeah,
see that?
Doug, I believe, already spoke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Doug, if you just provide your comment and on the website, we're limiting it to 3 minutes for each person that would like to speak. Is there anyone else?
All right, we'll do a last call for comments. Anyone else out there like to raise their hand? All right, so I will, in that case, I will thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate the time that our elected officials took out of their Saturday afternoon to be here to listen, and thank you to those members of the public who have been here as well. We encourage you to go to the website for updates and information, and also we encourage any of you to reach out to your local municipality for specific questions you might have about the status of a local police reform plan and the process. If you do have any questions specifically about this process and the whole police reform process, my suggestion would be if you don't find the information you need on the website, you can reach out to Ken Roman, who is the chair of the collaborative. His email address is kroman, R-O-M-A-N, @duchessny.gov. It's also listed on the website. Again, that's Ken Roman. He is the chair of this collaborative and would be able to answer any specific questions. So again, thank you so much for your participation. The recording of this will be available afterwards on the county's website. The next event will be, the next of these forums will be on September 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. And that will be specifically focused on the town of Pauling, including the village of Pauling, the towns of Unionvale, Beekman, LaGrange, Pleasant Valley, and Dover. And all other forum dates are listed on the website. Again, that's duchessny.gov/police-reform/community forums. So I'll just say a final thank you to Daniel. Thank you to Chris from Dutchess County for managing the technology here. And again, thank you to all of our elected officials for being here to listen. It's very meaningful to see your faces and to know that you're listening. Thank you.
Thanks for your participation.